For decades, the V8 engine has been more than just a power plant in America. It has been a symbol of strength, capability, and performance. Few manufacturers understand that legacy better than Ford. From the modular V8 era to the game-changing Coyote platform, Ford has consistently pushed the boundaries of what a modern V8 can be. Then came the 7.3-liter Godzilla, an engine that surprised the industry at a time when many expected Ford to focus exclusively on turbocharging and electrification. Instead, the company doubled down on displacement, and buyers responded. The Godzilla quickly earned a reputation for durability, simplicity, and impressive torque. Now, however, reports suggest Ford may be preparing something even bigger. Over the past several months, rumors have begun circulating about an entirely new large displacement V8 currently moving through Ford's development process. Unlike previous updates or revisions, insiders claim this project represents a completely fresh engine architecture. If those reports are accurate, the automotive world could be looking at one of Ford's most ambitious gasoline engines in decades, and 2027 may be the year it finally arrives. The speculation gained momentum after a photograph briefly surfaced online from what appeared to be a Ford engine testing facility. At first glance, there was nothing remarkable about the image. A covered engine sat on a dyno stand surrounded by the usual calibration equipment. But when enthusiasts and industry observers examined the image more closely, several details caught their attention. Labels visible near the testing equipment appeared to reference a 7-liter displacement, a naturally aspirated setup, and calibration work associated with a 2027 program. Those few clues were enough to ignite intense discussion across automotive forums, technician communities, and industry circles. What happened next only fueled the speculation further. The image reportedly disappeared almost as quickly as it appeared. Requests for clarification were met with silence. Ford declined to comment on the photograph and offered no explanation regarding its authenticity. While that alone proves nothing, many industry veterans noted that information tends to vanish quickly when it contains something manufacturers are not yet prepared to reveal publicly. At roughly the same time, independent analysts and individuals connected to automotive suppliers began discussing a separate development program believed to be taking place within Ford's powertrain division. According to multiple sources, this engine is not simply an enlarged version of the current Godzilla. Instead, it is reportedly being engineered from a clean sheet of paper. The project is said to involve an entirely new block design, revised combustion technology, advanced cooling systems, and material specifications that surpass those used in Ford's existing gasoline truck engines. One analyst familiar with supplier relationships explained that true next-generation engine programs rarely focus on displacement alone. They involve fundamental changes to architecture, efficiency, durability, and long-term scalability. In other words, if these reports are accurate, Ford may be developing a platform designed to remain relevant for many years rather than a short-term product cycle. Perhaps the most intriguing claim involves the engine's internal strength. Several sources have suggested that engineers are designing the bottom end with significantly greater capacity than would normally be required for a naturally aspirated application. Reinforced blocks, heavy-duty rotating assemblies, and unusually robust internal components often point toward future plans for forced induction. That possibility has generated enormous interest among enthusiasts. If Ford engineers are intentionally building extra strength into the platform, it could indicate that a high-performance variant is already part of the long-term roadmap. A supercharged version of a 7-liter V8 would immediately become one of the most powerful factory truck engines ever produced by an American manufacturer. The business case behind such an engine may be easier to understand than many realize. The diesel truck market is entering a period of significant change. New emissions regulations scheduled for implementation in 2027 are expected to increase complexity and cost across the diesel segment. Additional emissions hardware, stricter standards, and higher ownership expenses may push some buyers toward gasoline alternatives. Ford has already seen evidence of this trend. The success of the 7.3-liter Godzilla demonstrated that many truck owners still value large displacement gasoline engines, particularly when reliability, maintenance costs, and long-term ownership are considered. A more powerful next-generation gasoline V8 could provide Ford with a compelling alternative for customers who might otherwise have chosen diesel power. Former industry planners have noted that rising diesel ownership costs could create a substantial opportunity for high-output gasoline engines. If Ford can deliver diesel-like torque while maintaining lower complexity, the strategy could prove highly effective. Based on the information currently circulating, displacement is expected to land somewhere near 7 liters. Estimates vary, with some sources suggesting approximately 6.9 liters and others indicating a figure slightly above 7.0 liters. Final displacement numbers often change during development, making exact specifications difficult to confirm at this stage. The engine's valve train configuration remains another major topic of debate. Many observers believe Ford will continue using an overhead valve pushrod layout. Supporters of that theory point to the packaging advantages, lower manufacturing costs, and strong low-end torque characteristics that are especially valuable in truck applications. Others believe Ford could pursue an overhead cam design to improve airflow, increase engine speed capability, and expand the power band. While such an approach would offer performance benefits, it would also increase complexity and production costs. For a work-focused engine intended to replace diesel applications, many analysts still view a pushrod configuration as the more likely outcome. Performance estimates vary widely, but the numbers being discussed are substantial. Sources claiming familiarity with prototype testing have suggested naturally aspirated output figures ranging from approximately 525 to 600 horsepower. Torque estimates have generally fallen between 550 and 650 pound-feet, depending on calibration and intended application. If those projections prove accurate, Ford's new V8 would comfortably surpass the output of several current gasoline competitors in the heavy-duty truck market. The speculation becomes even more dramatic when forced induction enters the conversation. A factory-supercharged version could potentially produce anywhere from 750 to 900 horsepower, depending on boost levels, cooling capacity, and intended vehicle application. Such figures would place Ford in an entirely different performance category and create opportunities far beyond traditional work trucks. Reports regarding construction materials also suggest durability remains a major priority. Rumored specifications include a high-strength iron block with enhanced alloy content, a forged steel crankshaft, upgraded lubrication systems designed for sustained heavy loads, and advanced piston coatings intended to improve thermal resistance during prolonged operation. Taken together, these details describe an engine designed for demanding real-world use, rather than occasional bursts of performance. As for where the engine might appear first, most reports point toward Ford's Super Duty lineup. That application aligns closely with the engine's expected torque characteristics and commercial objectives. Performance enthusiasts are equally interested in another possibility, the next-generation Raptor R. A larger displacement V8 with substantial power reserves would fit naturally within Ford Performance's portfolio and could become a flagship power plant for the brand. Many observers also expect Ford Performance to offer the engine as a crate package, making it available to builders and aftermarket enthusiasts shortly after launch. Some rumors have even linked the engine to future Mustang applications, although evidence supporting that possibility remains considerably weaker than the truck-related reports. What makes this story particularly fascinating is the broader industry context. At a time when many manufacturers continue shifting resources away from large, naturally aspirated engines, Ford appears willing to invest heavily in exactly that category. The company has repeatedly demonstrated a willingness to preserve V8 programs even as competitors move in different directions. If these reports are accurate, that philosophy is not changing. While official confirmation remains absent, the available information points toward a clear conclusion. Ford appears to be developing a completely new large-displacement V8 intended to play a major role in its future truck strategy. Designed to address evolving diesel regulations, satisfy demand for gasoline-powered capability, and potentially support high-performance applications, the engine could become one of the most important powertrain launches of the decade. Whether Ford chooses to acknowledge the project before its official unveiling remains uncertain. What is clear is that discussion surrounding this mysterious 7-liter V8 continues to grow, and if even a portion of the rumors prove accurate, the American truck market may be on the verge of witnessing something very significant.